goals. 2010. I know exactly what I want to be doing in 2010, how much money I want to be earning, and what I'm going to be having to do it. Now, I have an onboard directional computer, and that can take me anywhere I want to go. When you know exactly where you want to go, then you can do a plan, a business plan to get you there, or a map to get you there. Long-term goals. I've got some mid-term goals. 2007. I know exactly where I have to be at the end of this year in order for me to hit my target. Oh, and by the way, I increase my earnings by 1/3 every year. So if you want a financial target for yourself, however much you took home last year, took home pay last year, turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality. Okay? So how much did you take home? Increase that by 1/3 this year if you want a target. I mean, my fitness goal, for instance, was to work out for 20 minutes every morning in my own gym. Not to get fit, but specifically, and then I knew if I was achieving it or not. Now that was last year. This year, it's to work out for 30 minutes every morning in my own gym. Get the idea? I've increased it by 1/3, and that's a reasonable thing to do, is increase your earnings by 1/3 every year. And if you do it for a few years in a run, soon you'll be earning as much as me, or even more. Okay, so mid-term goals, long-term, okay. But this is my point of power. I have a daily routine. This is the best time management system you will ever come across. You can't come across a better time management system than the one I'm going to give you now, because you need that little bit of extra time so that you can build a business while you're still doing work. And that's why I'm doing this time management thing with you now. The most important part of my day starts the night before by not going to bed at stupid o'clock. You know what stupid o'clock is? It's any time after 11 o'clock if you're working the next day. Otherwise, you're going to be walking through a fog. And the mistake I made the first 2 years in business was this. I worked that hard during the day that I wanted some pleasure out of it, so I'd watch a video till 2 and 3 o'clock in the blooming morning to get some pleasure out the day. Now that was stupid, because I had to be up at 7 the next morning and I was walking through a fog all day. So at the end of the night, I needed some pleasure out of the day, so I worked till 2 and 3. See what I mean? I'd done. I turned night into day. There used to be an old song, hadn't there? Sleepy time girl, you're turning night into day. So what I've had to do is discipline myself to go to bed at 11 o'clock the night before when I'm working the next day. So I go to bed, I personally say my prayers, I get up the next morning, say my prayers, I go into the bathroom, perfectly normal. And then for the first 10 minutes of the day, the most crucial part of the day, I sit in silence, stillness and solitude. And I recommend this to anybody. The first thing you do in the morning is not racing to work. If you race into work, you can bet that day is going to be wasted by going in circles for at least a few hours. The secret, first thing in the morning, is to sit in silence, stillness and solitude. Where you will get most of your creativity is in the silence. You must go into the silence. I've got a friend who is deaf, almost totally deaf, and he's one of the most successful men I know as a bookmaker, because he can tot up those, he's got total concentration. You see, what happens with nature is, if it gives you one disability, it usually counteracts it with another. In my case, I'm dyslexic. That means I have to get complicated ideas and put them over in a simple form. And that's all I'm doing here, is getting very complicated business ideas and putting them over in a simple form. You know, I'm translating the very complicated business ideas we learn in business school and putting them in a simple form that everybody can understand. Or hopefully everybody can understand. So this is what we do every morning. We sit in silence, stillness and solitude just for 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes every morning, we focus our creativity. Then we list the jobs we've got to do today. Now recently I was flown out to Guernsey. I do a lot of travelling all over the world these days with the business and whatnot. That's probably a big mistake, by the way. Look in your own backyard first, make a note. I'm sure there's enough money to be made in the Birmingham conurbation without travelling all over the ruddy world like I'm doing at the moment, you know what I mean? But anyway, they flew me out to Guernsey, and the Germans went there in the war, and there's a museum, and in the museum there was this old-fashioned pound note, and I bought it. Now, that old-fashioned pound note is now stuck up on my treasure map. There's a plastic coated on it so that it doesn't get damaged, and I've written across it how much I'm going to earn this year, which is 100,000 quid after tax. Now, that's my target for this year, okay? 100,000 after tax. And I've written across it to remind me every morning on the direction I'm trying to travel. A treasure map keeps us out of cul-de-sacs and keeps us off dead-end streets. That's why it's so important. A simple tool. My son has got what I call his Bible. Actually, it's the Argos catalogue, the big one. He studies it like a priest studies the Bible. You know, he knows every price and everything, but nothing manifested into his life, keyword manifested into his life, until he actually cut them out and stuck them on a wall. So that's what I'm suggesting you do. Put your hands up. Who wants 4 holidays abroad a year? I'll tell you how to get them. Put your hands up if you want 4 holidays abroad a year. You do? Write this down. Book the tickets. If you book the ticket, you'll find the money and you'll find the time. The first thing you do about August, as soon as next year's wall planner comes out, you get next year's wall planner, and with a permanent marker you put your holidays. The reason why most small businesses don't have a holiday is simply because they try to put their holidays around their customers and it doesn't work. So you have to put your customers around your holiday. Go into the catalogues, cut out where you want to go. You know, I've got 4 pictures up there. This is my treasure map. I've got 4 pictures of where I'm going to go on my holiday this year. I've got my own business mentor. I'm probably the only person who actually does this stuff. I was with a boatload of business advisors the other day running a marketing masterclass for them on how they can get more work, right? And I said, okay, put your hands up who's got your own business advisor or business mentor, and not one of them had. But if you think about it, everybody in this room is probably only one skill away from great wealth. If you can find out what that skill is by analysing yourself, finding somebody who's got that skill and asking them to help you, they become your business mentor in that particular aspect. I was absolutely lousy at selling until I got a salesman who was brilliant at selling, and this is the way to do it. Touch him on the back of the arm where it's safe and say, will you do me a favour? It's amazing on how many nod when you say that to them and they help you. Will you do me a favour? Recently, to promote my book, Over 50.biz, specialising, I mean, I don't only talk about this stuff, I do it. I walk the walk. There's a good many people who talk the talk, who don't walk the walk. But I make more money by putting this stuff into practice than I do teaching others about it. I actually walk the walk. So what you need is a mentor that can walk the walk, a business advisor of your own. My latest one is called Jeff, and he's head of BBC News Television in Birmingham. And I said, Jeff, will you do me a favour? Will you show me how to write a press release? Because I am absolutely crap at press releases. And that's what he's done. And he's also taken me around the studios. And now he's palling me up with somebody in PR who specialises in people such as me, so they know what they're talking about. Get the idea? So what we all need is help. I'll tell you this, asking for help is the first sign of maturity. You want to get mature in your business, asking for help. Put a picture on the wall of all the things that you want, the car you want, and also what you must do to get it. That's very important too. What you must do to achieve these things. Okay. And then I personally focus on the results. This is my marketing machine. I wish I got a darker pen. This is fundamentally what business is about. We start off with somebody who looks like that. We make them look like that. And they give us money for it. Now that's your degree in business studies for tonight. If you can get this simple concept and you remember that this is a customer, not you, yeah, then you will be successful in business. There's loads of people coming out of university with degrees in business and business administration, and they haven't got this simple concept. That business is about serving others. Okay, that's what it's about. It ain't about what's in it for me, it's about what's in it for them. You've heard the expression, his cup runneth over. Have you heard that expression? This is the way it works, look, and you're just starting 12 months or so in your business. This is your cup, right? And this is what they mean by cup floweth over. You have to give the service, keep giving the service, slowly it fills up, giving the service, slowly it fills up, giving the service, slowly, and then eventually it flows over. It's that flows over is then mine. Get the idea? So you've got to keep giving it until eventually it starts coming back. Don't rely only on word of mouth. If you rely only on word of mouth as your marketing strategy, your business is in deep, deep trouble. Because word of mouth runs out in 9 months' time when your customers find somebody else to brag about. So build a sales machine. Now I've told you about the production machine. I'll show you about the marketing machine quickly, and I'll show you about very quickly, and then I'll show you about the sales machine. Put your hands up. Who wants satisfied customers? Put your hands up if you do. It ain't good enough. In 2007, it ain't good enough to satisfy a customer. You're going to watch them flock into a competitor that's prepared to delight them. It's easy to delight a customer. Promise medium, deliver high. Write that down and you'll delight your customer. Do something that the competition doesn't. We call it your USP. Yeah, do something that the competition doesn't and put all of your adverts around it. Let's say you do it in 24 hours and everybody else does it in 48. All your adverts should be around, we do it in 24. Don't tell them, anything else. We do it in 24 when all the competition is doing it in 48. So what you do, you put all of your adverts around your USP. Niche market. Find somebody you can delight. We can't delight everybody, so we find a group of people that we can delight. Okay? Now, I'm doing a lot of work with banks at the moment, so when you get to work with a specific group of people, you learn their language and you can start to use their language back to them or in a letter. If I was sending a letter, let's say, to Lloyd's TSB, say to their bank manager, we can help you get switches. Now, nobody else might know what that means, but I've seen a bank manager wet themselves with excitement over the thought of getting switches. Especially as their directors have been jumping up and down on them, saying you must get more switches. But most other people won't know what it is. Can you see what I mean? So what you need to do is find a group of people that you can delight. We're fisher people. We're fishermen. When I was fishing for salmon off America, in the Pacific, we use a totally different bait to when we were fishing in the Red Sea. Colour plays a phenomenal role in your marketing. Phenomenal role, the colour. Hey, and the most important business decision you will make, and you better write this one down, it's what you call a business. Call the business what you do. Don't name it after yourself. That's probably a male ego trip. Call the business what you do. Good advice, good suggestion. That's unless you happen to be relatively famous now, in which case you can trade on the back of that. I followed a lorry in Wales. It had got J. Jones and Son on the back. Mr. Jones knows what they do. Mrs. Jones knows what they do. The son knows what they do. But no bugger else knows what they do. See what I mean? Call the business what you do. Now, you might come back to me and say, well, you know, many a company like Woolworths named it after their owners. Well, yes, they did, but it took 150 years to get established. Same with Marks and Spencer's. It took 150 years. If you've got the time, call it what you do. Call it after yourself, I mean. If you ain't got the time, call it what you do. My company is called Training Projects. That's what I do, training projects. And you can use a strap line underneath. This is what I'll tell you about marketing. Be different to your competition. In a niche market, be different to your competition. Look different to your competition. Your competitor, you get 250,000 adverts hit you every year. Now, how are you going to stand out from the crowd? That's the question you've got to ask. And it can be in your business card. Have them done professionally, not off your own computer. It looks cheap. Never look like a man with a van. You know, never look like a man with a van. You'll earn 10 or 15 quid an hour as a man with a van. But if you get it sprayed properly and you call the business what you do and you got it on your T-shirt and it stands out with your logo, you can charge £30 an hour. Get the idea? And now quickly I'll look at my sales machine and then I'll wrap it up. This is Tom Edge's sales machine. It's a hopper. Somebody said, how do you get sausage out of a sausage machine? Well, you have to put sausage meat in the top. These are the contacts and leads I have to make. This is the sale. Now, I need 2 sales every month to increase my earnings to in line with my plan. Somebody said to me, how do you forecast sales? Well, I'll tell you, how much do you want to earn? How many sales have you got to make to do that? And that's it. Then you build a machine to achieve that. You build a sales machine. My 2 new sales mean I have to make 4 proposals. You might call them quotes, but I have to pitch for 4 to get 2. How do I find them 4? I have to make 10 fact-finding visits. Now listen carefully to the next statement. When you're selling, there is no substitute for seeing the people. All the websites in the world won't get you the sales, all the adverts in the world. Marketing gets them in the door. It's your selling skills and verbal skills that turn them into paying customers. What you must do is get on a personal selling skills course at the Business Link or wherever they're running them. This is vital. And get on a negotiating skills course at the same time, because all of business is about negotiating. Okay? It ain't about graphs and pie charts and spreadsheets. It's about negotiating. Eyeball to eyeball. Face to face with your customer. Wallet to wallet with your customer. Heart to heart with your customer. That's the only way you're going to be able to sell, and then improve every time. I send out 200 letters every month. Now, if I send out 200 letters every month, I get 10 fact-finding visits, 4 proposals and 2 sales. So instead of focusing on the outputs, what I'm doing, I'm focusing on the inputs. I religiously send out 200 letters every month and then follow them up, a lot of them up, with phone